So as a marketer marketing pet food, you have to understand that you're appealing to two audiences. You're appealing to the audience that's the owner, the customer that's going to purchase the product, but also to the consumer, which is our pets, which is our dogs, which is our cats, etc. Making sure that it's nutritious for them, it's palatable, it has the right aroma that makes them want it also.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pet Food Science Podcast, where we seek to discuss current research and how it may apply to innovation in the pet food industry. I'm your host, Julia Pizzali, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Lonnie Hobbs about research on pet food economics and pet food marketing. Welcome, Dr. Hobbs, to our podcast.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you for having me.
No problem, our pleasure. And before I talk about pet food economics and marketing, which is your area of research, do you mind telling us and our audience your background and how you end up in your current position today?
Sure. So I first started with an undergrad in agriculture economics with an agribusiness focus at Prairie View A&M University in Texas. I'm originally from Texas. After completing my undergrad degree, I came to K-State for a master's through the KSRE Summer Research Program, which you and I will be actually working with this summer. But yeah, started my master's here in 2017. That's actually where I was introduced to the pet food realm, pet food industry, through a project with Dr. Alex Shinoyne as well as Dr. Greg Aldrich. And in that project is where I recognized that pet food was a growing industry. I knew a lot of people that had pets, but yet no one was conducting applied economic research in this industry. There was no marketing studies, there was no demand studies. Well, I won't say no, there were very little. So I recognized the gap in the research, and I decided then and there that I wanted to help to fill that gap. So did my master's thesis over pet food, more specifically pet food economics, and then got into the PhD program here. And throughout my PhD studies, still focused on pet food. And from there, graduated last year, as a matter of fact, in 2023, and started in August of 23 as an assistant professor here in the economics or agriculture economics department. So it's been a long journey. Had some good times here at K State, but the best thing I would say about K State, as I said, it introduced me to pet food.
As a global leader in pet nutrition, ADM is always looking at what's next, taking a forward-looking view of the industry landscape and a comprehensive approach to developing innovative, science-backed foods, treats, and supplements so owners can take a proactive approach to their pet's wellness.
That's awesome. So you are not new to K-State, but you're new as a professor. So
Yes.
good. Yeah, I'm glad that K-State offered the opportunity for you to explore pet food, and was actually the same for me as well. I learned more in Brazil, but here I was more explored to the industry overall and how I was able to be part of it. So very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm a nutritionist. I don't understand much about marketing and economics. And I think that some of the challenges that we have in the industry, people are very segregated. So they don't
Mhm.
understand each other, and this lack of communication sometimes just ignite some, not hate, but people don't communicate very well, so it can
Yeah.
be challenging to work together. So I'm going to ask a lot of questions as a nutritionist with not a much background on pet food economics and even
Problem.
marketing. And from my understanding, when I try to look to marketing research, I go a lot of to some websites, not even to research papers, and I see a lot of there are quite a few amazing companies that they do research or marketing analysis on pet foods and even the pet market. But many of those are very expensive to purchase. So I have very limited, I would say, deep understanding or access to the data. We have an overall understanding, but if you want to delve very deep on those topics, it's kind of hard to find information that is accessible and publicly available. And there are a lot of amazing companies as well that do marketing, research, and economics for pet food companies, but the data stay internally, which
Yeah.
is understandable. So when I learned that you were doing research with pet food economics and marketing, I was interested what does this actually mean? What does the research can be conducted? So if you wanna maybe explain basically overall how it starts to the research by food economics, how can we start doing that, and maybe can be some research from your master's and PhD even.
I must say, I appreciate the take that the industry at times can be disjointed or disconnected. But I want to make it clear that we all are working together. Just as you may not know much about the marketing aspect, my knowledge on the nutrition and what it takes to make pet food palatable, etc., is very limited also. But in order to provide the right type of product at a good price point to the customers, we both have to work together. And I think
Exactly.
that's the piece where I recognize that I myself, as well as my colleagues and team, can help to increase the knowledge of the industry in understanding that as a nutritionist, your goal is to help companies develop the most nutritious product that can provide the pet with the essentials that it needs. Well, as a market researcher, my job is to help those companies after they've developed that product to help them get it in the hands of customers. And we take a backwards approach to doing that because instead of starting with a nutritious diet itself, we start with the customers to ask them what is it that they want in the first place. So then we can go back to the companies, go back to you guys as the nutritionist to say, well, customers want this. They want this aspect of the product. Just prime example, we're having problems with obesity. So customers want a healthy product, low calorie product that they can provide to their furry friends. So in that, we start the conversation so then companies and nutritionists know what's the target outcome, and then from there you guys go, you do your thing, you provide the best ingredients, the most nutritious product, what's most palatable from an aroma standpoint, what smells the best for the customer or for the pet. And then from there, after you've developed that, we then step in again to say, okay, where's the best place for you to sell this to the customer? Who is your customer who's actually going to buy it? What's the right price points? What are they willing to pay for this product that you're developing? From that, after they have purchased the product, after they have bought it, they've used it, what's their post purchase perception? Excuse me. What's their post purchase perception after they bought it? What do they feel about it? Are they likely to rebuy it again, or will they switch to another competitive product? So answering the questions on not just the supply side of what you should provide or supply to the market, but also on the demand side, what do customers demand most? What do they want most? And then what's the alignment between the products that you're providing and what customers are actually wanting? You talked about my master's thesis. What I did in my master's thesis, I assessed customers' post-purchase perception. So I actually wrote a code to pull online reviews for different pet food products. And in those reviews, I matched the review itself with the review ranking of the product. So am I satisfied? Am I unsatisfied? Neutral, etc. And I also examined the attributes mentioned in that product or in that review about the product. And my goal in that was to identify, well, because as a company, if you're marketing that your product is healthy, it's nutritious, it is good packaging, the aroma smells great, are your customers actually saying the same thing when they purchase and use the product? So what's the overlap between what you're marketing about your product versus what customers actually perceive about the product? And what are some areas and opportunities for growth? And what came out of that, we noticed, of course, a lot of the things that were positively mentioned, health attributes, ingredients, etc., some of those hot topics. But in terms of area for growth, we noticed that a lot of dissatisfied customers perceive to have problems with the packaging. And that may not necessarily be the company's fault themselves, but that could be due to transportation of online packaging. These were online reviews, so people that purchased the product online, and that transportation and distribution from getting the product from facility to customer. And what we recognized is with this packaging problem, as I said, this creates opportunity for companies to step in and adjust their packaging, because if you are a company, you're delivering your product from your warehouse, from your production facility to a brick and mortar store, a Walmart or distribution center, etc., you're going to handle that product with care. You're going to handle that packaging with care. But whenever we introduce e-commerce and online platforms such as Amazon, etc., well, the people delivering that product to the customer may not be a representative from that company. So they may not handle the product with the same level of care. So we recognize there's opportunity, even if the company potentially adjust their packaging to make it more durable, or adjust the packaging so then it can withstand shipping and handling to the customer. There's opportunity to increase your value proposition, increase your product differentiation in the market. So really taking different aspects of the pet food supply chain as a whole to say where are there opportunities for companies to improve so they can increase their differentiation from other competitors in the market, and therefore overall increase their profits. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what we do. I know that was kind of long and drawn out, but in a nutshell, in pet food economic research, that's what we're looking at. How do we help companies to better serve the customers that they are providing their product to?
No, that's very interesting. And as you said, it doesn't matter if we formulate or produce the most nutritious product if it doesn't reach the consumer and the dog and cat or the specific population you're formulating for. So every single area in the industry is very important and has this very important role overall.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the package, and I think it's interesting as well. And maybe because there are many also companies that produce fresh and frozen pet food, and
Hmm.
not sure if you look at that in the service, but there are probably areas to explore in that frozen and fresh market how the experience of online and delivery has been to those different specific markets as well.
Definitely. Now, at the time that we ran that study, it was about 2018, 2019. So the frozen itself had not became as large and as big as it is now. So we narrowed the focus to just dry pet food at that point in time. But we're actually in the process of running another study that's looking at differencing in post-purchase perception of various pet food forms. So not just dry, but wet, freeze dried, some of that fresh food also. So we have some studies and research in the works, but we hadn't published it yet.
No, sounds good. I'm gonna be looking for those online when they're published.
Yes.
Um, and you mentioned that a lot of those research that you've been doing is with online reviews.
Mhm.
Is there any difference between customers that purchase online or in the store, and can we, extrapolate that data or that specific uh, review to the whole population of consumers that are purchasing the product, or how do you deal with that potential difference?
Yes. So right now, of course, we can only access from review standpoint customers that are online unless we go to the stores themselves and ask through survey. But what we noticed is we weren't able to, in that study itself, identify the demographics that's purchasing. All that we knew is this person has verified purchased this product or not, and what were their review thoughts on it. Now we are looking into some more demand studies that gives us more information on the owner or the purchaser, give us more background and demographic information that we can then start making those connections. Even with a few surveys that we've done, we went through a survey company that helped us to ensure that our survey sample was representative of the U.S. pet food industry as a whole. So we're trying to find workarounds to make sure that our results are reflective of the entire pet food industry and the quote unquote average or different tiers of pet food customers. But in that post purchase survey, we weren't able to get that because we only had, if they were a verified purchaser, of course, think about like um, an Amazon profile. You may have your picture, you may have your username, but other than that, only information it gives us if you're a verified purchaser, the date of purchase, your review, and then your product ranking.
No, that makes sense. And I mean, they're different consumers, but also those reviews online are the ones that everyone is going to read. So they're as important as what is driving those people on store to purchase specific products.
Yes, yes, yes. But we are seeing more online purchasing across the board in
Hmm.
different pet owners and pet customer sectors, some more than others. But a lot of the demographics and segments are okay with purchasing online, which we're seeing also a rise in the automatic purchasing. So I go to a subscription base, maybe with an Amazon or Chewy, and I purchased this product, but I set it on automatic renewal. So over a couple weeks, it automatically purchases for me. So seeing the rise in that, it's important for us to understand why they're purchasing the product that they're selecting. And based on that, if they're okay with it, they're actually removing the option to view other products. So it's very important to understand on that first purchase when they are setting this online recurring purchase, what are the factors that's helping them to decide that I want that product and that I want to keep purchasing that product.
And it's a good point that if they or they may not stop looking for other products because they have the subscription. I'm one of those people that always forget to cancel subscriptions, so I'm very bad sample size for that. But it's more the post experience, I would say, understanding what is going to make they buy the product again or not. How about ingredients? If you're an ingredient supplier, can you also try to understand, or how can you help them understand if their ingredient or their specific byproduct or product uh, can increase awareness, which products can be included, which is the best market? Can do also do research on that specific area?
Yes, yes, yes. So we do have some surveys and some studies that is coming about various ingredients in pet foods, one being sorghum, one being soybean. We have a few others that's in store also. And what we're looking at with that is understanding customers' education and knowledge level about those ingredients and the benefits provided by those ingredients. And with those ingredient suppliers, what we're able to offer them is to say, well, hey, you're looking at this specific ingredient. Um, these are the benefits that this ingredient offers. These are the benefits that customers are looking for. If we can help to align the customers to show them that this ingredient offer those benefits, and in some cases, it minimizes some of the downfalls of other ingredients, that's how you market it to the customer. Don't just say that, hey, we offer this ingredient in this product, but talk about the benefits of that ingredient in a way that aligns with the customers are wanting. So, prime example of that, if I am looking for a product that helps with my dog's digestion, well, don't market the ingredient that's linked to the digestion. Market that this product offers this ingredient and specifically say it's linked to digestion or gut health. Now, of course, with product packaging, with regulations, you have to be careful in some of the claims that you're making to make sure you're not getting into medicinal claims. But a lot of times we assist with understanding what's the best way to market it to the customer, what's the best way to um, what's the best way to inform the customer that my product offers benefits that's related to this? This is what you're looking for, without making those medicinal claims.
Yeah, no, very important. And it's a challenge that sometimes in academia we have translating basic research into applied
Yes.
research and how bring that to the market, because at the end of the day, bringing that to the real world is
Mm,
what's going to make a difference and drive innovation. Um,
very true.
you mentioned about working with the ingredient supplier or specific ingredients to translate that message. What about, can you educate consumers using specific strategies to try to um, increase their awareness about an ingredient, or even about me as a nutritionist, a nutritional strategy like ingredient nutrient ratios? Can we try to educate them through this marketing analysis or surveys or even consumer understanding?
Definitely, definitely. I really think, Julia, that you're looking at my research log I have over here. And I say that because I have a couple studies in the store right now that's actually looking not only at current education levels of customers, but identifying what's their source of education. Where are you getting the information that you know about your products? Where are you getting that from? But yes, to answer your question, yes, there are ways to increase their education. My previous research has looked at that from a packaging standpoint. What are the primary locations on the packaging that you should be placing this information to increase the knowledge of the consumer about your product? I've taken a step back to look at it from a web page point of view with online purchasing. Where are the location points that customers are looking into? Myself, my colleague Alex Shanoy, we are looking into integrating some technology into this. Maybe look at like some eye tracking studies or something to identify where are the primary points that customers are looking at the point of purchase to distinguish if they're going to purchase your product or not. Now that's from a packaging and marketing standpoint, that in that realm, but we've actually taken a step back to say, okay, we're aware that some customers already go to the store or already look online knowing what product they want to purchase. So if that's the case, where are they getting the information to guide that purchase point?
Yeah.
Now, I don't have published results for it yet, but we do have some interesting things in store to report about that, where their primary point of information is coming from. And based on that, what's the best way and a best approach to market to reach them where they currently are?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think a few weeks ago, I was reading some papers on the human nutrition side with some researchers. They were also grain scientists. They were looking into how they can advertise fiber better on the on the product package to
Yes.
increase consumer awareness of it and increase also
Hmm.
purchase for more healthy based products. But yeah, it's also very important to how can we translate the message to make sure they are able to understand and purchase
Yes.
the product and drive purchase as well.
And that marketing on packaging is it's a tricky subject because your the amount of information you can display on the packaging is limited.
Mhm.
You don't want to market too much to where they're not even reading it, but you don't want to market too little where your description is vague and they don't understand what you're saying. So finding a healthy blend is the challenge, and it is the goal also with that product packaging marketing.
Yeah, and there's some. It's overwhelming to go to pet stores. There's so many products, and some are. I look at some packages like this is so overwhelming. I don't want to look at this anymore because I can understand everything that is on here. So imagine for regular customers is overwhelming for sure too.
Oh yes, and it's interesting though. This kind of ties back into your first question of what drew me to pet food. From the marketing realm, the one thing that I love about pet food, it's slightly different from to marketing to human food. In many other food industries, the people that you're marketing to are the people that's consuming the product. So understanding their purchase, understanding what they want, to me is a lot simpler than it is in the pet food industry because in pet food, you're marketing to someone that's not the actual consumer of the product.
Hmm.
And the person that is purchasing the product, um, they only can observe the person that's consuming the product to identify if they like it or not. So, for instance, if I'm an owner, I observe if my dog likes this product or not by the way that they interact with the product. Are they jumping up and down when they smell it? Do they immediately dive in? Do they smell it and run off? So I'm the one that's consuming the product can't really speak to say, "Ooh, that bag that you got me yesterday actually tastes very good. It was very fresh. It was crisp. I like it that way." Well, they can't verbally say that. It's up to the owner to visualize and identify those cues, and then based on that, that's what helps me also when making my purchasing. So as a marketer marketing pet food, you have to understand that you're appealing to two audiences. You're appealing to the audience that's the owner, the customer that's going to purchase the product, but also to the consumer, which is our pets, which is our dogs, which is our cats, etc. Making sure that it's nutritious for them, it's palatable, it has the right aroma that makes them want it also. So it's a very intricate it's an intricate market to market in, which I absolutely love.
It is, and that perception of the owner, if the dog or cat or specific pet is liking the product, is so important and is important for
Yes.
human animal bond. And if their pet don't show that excitement and enjoyment, I will at least not buy the product again, unless I know my pet really needs the product to specific
Yeah,
reasons. But I want to see, any customer, their pet parent, see their pet enjoying what they're eating. So that's extremely important to make sure they purchase the product again.
definitely.
I want to ask a few questions about economics itself. Again, not my area of expertise for sure. But I was reading some studies, and there's some studies on pet food demand in general
Hmm.
that they say that expenditure is inelastic.
Hmm.
And I know you did some research trying to understand what are actually external factors that are affecting the pet food demand and some pre-commitment demand levels. Can you explain that, what that means, and how did you apply that to pet food?
So in my PhD dissertation, we did one of the studies focused on assessing pet food demand for animal-based protein products. And in that, we were able to develop a demand system, basically understand what are the factors that affects customers' demand for these products, but also how does their demand, consumption, or expenditure level change given a change in the price. So what we did, we looked at expenditure elasticity. We looked at on price, which is just a combination of how does demand change when price change, when income change, etc. Now, when it comes to pre-committed demand, we understand that because this is a food product, no matter what the price is, at some point, our pets still have to eat. So no matter what the price point, and I'm saying that loosely, there are some assumptions in that, but up to a certain point, no matter what the price point is, there's a certain level of pet food that must be purchased or consumed to keep our pets alive. And then after that point that is what we consider to be the pre-committed portion, the portion of demand that no matter what the price is, this portion is going to be purchased. Now, after that point is identified, the rest of the demand is what we consider to be demand that adjusts when price levels change. So what we did in this study, basically, we identified the levels based on the different animal-based protein groups, which we have beef, chicken, turkey, and salmon. And I believe we had another one in there also. It's been a few years since I've done that one. Lamb, we had lamb in there also. But what we recognized in this is at some point, the demand for beef, for chicken, for turkey, for salmon, there is a pre-commitment level there, meaning up to a certain point, no matter what the price is, the demand for those products will not change. That's the pre-committed portion. After that portion, how does demand change? So what we did in this study, we looked at it to see, well, we first identified that pre-commitment portion, which there was a higher level of pre-commitment in beef products than all of them. But there was some pre-commitment level in chicken-based products, turkey products, and a small pre-commitment level in salmon products. And what that tells us is that changing and adjusting the prices of all of those animal-based protein groups, you'll see a larger change. Well, you'll see a change in the demand for chicken, turkey, and salmon products before you see the change in the demand for beef products, as a result to changes in prices. But once that pre-commitment portions are met for each of those animal-based proteins, then we'll see true elasticity kick in to where customers are now responsive to price changes. And in that, we did find that in each of those, customers are responsive to price change. And that paper is actually on the way to be published as well. So I'm not going to get too specific into the details of it because we are doing some fine tuning. We added a few variables also. So the portions themselves may adjust a bit, but the overall findings themselves that there is some pre-commitment level, and after those pre-commitment portions are met, prices do respond, customers do respond, an increase in the price of whatever that product is does decrease the demand for that product at some point. And in the paper itself, we do signal and identify what level or what percentage of demand will be adjusted from those price increases. So I hope I didn't get too technical, but basically, as I said, pre-commitment is just a portion that they're going to buy no matter what. After that pre-commitment is met, then customers are more responsive to price change.
That's very interesting because even for a nutritionist standpoint, because I know if the price changes, then it may change um, the protein quality of that specific product,
Mhm.
what the consumption of protein and amino acids that they may
Yes.
be changing depending on the price. So it's very important to, as a nutritionist, but also overall company, to predict decisions or make those decisions based on what consumers are going to be purchasing or not.
Yes.
Very,
For
very
sure.
interesting. Maybe to wrap up, Lonnie, do you want to maybe give a, 30 seconds elevated speech on what this area of research is so important and why it's so novel as well? At least from my limited understanding, I don't see many places that we can do research in academia on this specific topic. So maybe do you want to just to wrap up the importance of this and what kind of research can you offer?
Yes, yes, definitely. So my spill on pet food economics itself, there is a need for this area of expertise. Kind of going back to what I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, what we do, we help to bring together the customers and the companies. We help to make sure that customers have a voice in expressing what they want, and expressing this before they even get to the supermarket. So then we can help to ensure that when they get to the supermarket, the products that they want are there. And we bring this information back to the companies to help the companies understand what type of products they need to be developing for the customer. And based on that, then helping them to better get that product to the customer at the right price point so that product can sell. At the end of the day, we all love our furry friends. We all love our pets. We all love the pet owners. We love the companies. Um, the pet food industry itself is a business. Companies are in business to make money. Yes, we want to make sure that our furry friends are at the forefront of us making money, but they want to make money. And the way that they make money is to make sure their products are selling. The way that they do that, making sure they're offering a product and communicating it in a way that customers want it. What we do in pet food economics, we help to simplify that process. We help to identify areas that companies or customers may not know, in terms of customer demand, predicting future demand, predicting attributes, what are they wanting, how much they're willing to pay for it. We take a step back to say, let's look at the customer, let's look at the company, and let's provide that overlap. Now, we have recognized that not much is out there about pet food from an applied economic standpoint, and that's due to data limitations. A lot of that also is due to the lag in the academic publication process. As you know, Julia, the publication process can go from several months to a year and a half, 2 years, just depending on the journal, the topic, etc.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate having platforms like this where we as academic researchers, we as pet food enthusiasts can come and also share this information even before or after the publication process so we can get that information out. As we know, the pet food industry is a growing industry, it's a fast moving industry. Trends change over time, fads, of course, go in and out. And as academic researchers, we're trying to capture all this information, package it, and present it in a way that's helpful to everyone in the industry. So please, 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 if you get some time, take a look at some of our work. You can actually find me on Google Scholar, Lonnie Hobbs Jr. I'm also on LinkedIn as well, which I have some work published on there. And we have a lot of research to come. Myself, Dr. Alex Shanoan, in collaboration with Dr. Julia Pizzali. So a lot of good work to come. Please support, and we're just here to help. So once again, Julia, thank you for the opportunity to share some of the research that we're doing in pet food economics, and just another platform to talk pet food. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, it's Pet Food Science Podcast, and the science is involves every single aspect of it.
Yes,
It's not only nutrition, not only packaging, is everything that's going to come together to provide the product that the consumer is looking for, but also there is nutrition. So there's all those aspects that are very important.
of
So
course.
thank you, Lonnie. But before you go, I have two last questions for you that are
Okay.
not specifically related to pet food economics. And the first one is you came from an agricultural economics program, and you know that pet food is not a very, I would say, very big topic or research area. So, what did you like so much about pet food that you decided to continue your career specifically on pet food economics?
Yes. Great question. I love the search in research. I love identifying different gaps, identifying problems, and the process to take a systematic approach to solving those problems. And when I was first introduced to pet food, I recognized that there was a large gap in the academic research from applied economic standpoint related to pet food. And for me, I wanted to personally take hand in filling that gap. I have several collaborations. I'm not the only one that's working on it, but I wanted to be one of the ones in the industry that could help to fill that gap. There's a plethora of nutritional information, nutritional academic research related to pet food, some production related research to pet food, but there wasn't much out there about marketing. As you mentioned earlier, marketing, a lot of times it's consultants that's doing that work, and a lot of that information is proprietary. So it's hard to access, it's hard to get data about it. There are a lot of pitfalls within the industry that prevents rapid growth in the economic space. So for me, I wanted to personally try to fill that gap. And given that I'm here at Kansas State, we do have the awesome pet food program and in grain science and industry. Have a very good partnership here with the Department of Agriculture Economics and Grain Science. I just felt that this was the right place to do pet food economics, and this is the right time to do pet food economics given the growth in the market. And also, like I said, the many facets and layers to marketing pet food, given that you're not marketing to the primary consumer. So, very interesting topic, and it just from the minute that I was introduced to it, it grasped my my interest, my enthusiasm, and from there, I just wanted to continue running with it.
And I love the pet food industry too, and I love the people who work in the pet food industry. Very diverse background, but yeah, I love the industry overall.
Oh yes.
ProAmpac, your companion in pet packaging. Visit pets.proampac.com to explore our innovative sustainable solutions, such as our QuadFlex recyclable flat bottom bags, ProDura polywoven bags, ProEvo recyclable paper bags with grease resistance, and our proactive recyclable film and pouches that run at optimum speeds on your filling equipment. Elevate your wet food, treats, and kibble brand by utilizing packaging that safeguards and preserves product freshness. Trust ProAmpac for packaging that cares for your pets and the planet. pets.proampac.com.
And my last question is, I was Googling, your name and everything, and then I found information that the students love you and love the way you teach. So I assume you're very passionate about teaching about this academic environment overall. So what is your long-term goal as an educator, and why do you like academia, and why did you decide to stay on it?
I'm fortunate. I have some very good students, first and foremost, I must say. Long-term goals in academia is to become one of those seasoned professors that coming to K-State, Ag Econ, or anything about pet food economics, my name in some sort of realm pops up. And that's not just from a research standpoint, but also from a teaching standpoint. My goal anytime I go into the classroom is to teach the students something that they can learn and use later in life. Whether that's the topic subject itself or something that they know, they learn that about themselves, something they learn about interacting with others. My whole goal is to teach them something that they can learn in life. So I try to make the teaching and classroom environment very open and welcoming to everyone. Everyone has an opportunity to share their opinion. It's a very relaxed environment, so I'm usually cracking jokes. My students laugh all the time at me because I still play basketball, so I will openly challenge them in the front of the class that, hey, we can go to the rec later to play basketball. But just finding different ways to relate to the students themselves, and in that, teaching the topic or subject in a way that is simple and the students can understand it also. So I will say I am very fortunate. I absolutely love teaching, and it's one of those things where I love both aspects of my job. I have a percentage of teaching and a percentage of research. I love the teaching that I'm doing. I love the research that I'm conducting also. So I am a very happy camper.
That's awesome, man. I assume K State, and we are very fortunate to have you here to have people passionate about topics and teaching and research. It's not very easy to find. So thanks for saying K State and making a difference here.
Thank you. Thank you. And we're fortunate to have you at K State. To be the leader of the pet food program and just how open and welcoming you are, not just with sharing your knowledge with us, but collaborating with us in the ag econ realm too. That's something that's very, very important. Like I said earlier, there's a lot about the pet food industry that we may not know, but you are more than happy and willing to share with us to help us to make sure we're all on the right page with the research that we're doing.
We are independent contractors, but we should not act as so. We have the common
Very
goal,
true.
and I think the university has to have this mindset to move forward and to drive innovation. Otherwise, we are going to stay behind. And I think one of the reasons the industry moves forward is also financial support, but they have a common goal, and everyone is working towards that, even though they have some
Yes.
differences. And in academia, you should follow the same. Otherwise, we are going to stay behind. So
Yes.
I'm glad to have more people here work with pet food in different areas that are willing to collaborate and then they have the same goal to produce diets are going to be sustainable economically, but also nutritious for dogs and cats, and yeah, make our dogs and cats live longer at the end of the day. So thank you very much, Lonnie. It was great to talk with you today, and yeah, I hope you'll come back to our podcast for a new conversation.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, Julia. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. And just let me know when you have some openings. I'd love to come back and talk more pet food research.